Unreal. I'd heard about your talisman, but I didn't think they really existed. What's that humming noise?
Beethoven's Fifth.
This is our Halloween special from New York, and have we got a show for you tonight. Little did anybody realize back in the early 1970s what an impact four men from New York would have on the rock scene in this country. Since 1974, KISS has produced a gold album with every single album they've recorded. 11 out of 15 albums have gone platinum. They are known for the incredible illusions and theatrics during their performances. The drummer goes 30 feet up in the air and turns around. The bass player grunts, groans, flies 40 feet up in the air and spits blood. The lead guitarist sets off fireworks and smoke illusions and blows up his guitar, and the rhythm guitarist crashes his own guitar into eensy, beensy, teeny tiny pieces, and he passes them out to the audience at the end of the concert, and the audience takes them home and trades them for food. KISS is best known, however, for their mythical personas on stage, the wild makeup, the spectacular costumes, the superheroic posture, and they're all here tonight. The KISS phenomena does not stop with sound. There are KISS games, lunchboxes, toys, pinball machines, and soon to come is KISS World, a traveling amusement park. It all adds up to an incredible organization with millions of dollars and millions of fans, and here they are. Now, let me tell you something. These four young men walked in here this afternoon about, what, 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago, carrying 8 enormous sacks filled with all their outfits, their shoes and their chokers and their capes and their jewels and their paraphernalia and their makeup. And I cannot believe that they would spend all this time, because they're not going to perform here tonight, but rather get into themselves. That's what we like to do, get people into themselves. So they did this for us, and I'm so appreciative of this. And they'll all be out here in just a second. Individually, they are Gene Simmons, the bass player, Peter Criss, the drummer, Paul Stanley, the guitarist, and Ace Frehley, the lead guitarist. And they're here this evening to help us celebrate Halloween. And KISS will join us in just a moment. Now, here are the remarkable members of KISS, and first of all, Mr. Gene Simmons, who is the bass player, who is the bass player, Mr. Peter Criss, who is the drummer, Mr. Paul Stanley, who is the guitarist, and Ace Frehley, who is the lead guitarist.
I'm not the lead. I'm the trout player.
Now, tell how this started, you know, because Gene came in and he said, I didn't know I played bass. And I said, well, I see Aykroyd on Saturday Night Live with the bass fish, and then you say the trout player.
I have to excuse it. Bass.
Yeah, they've been called many things, but not the bass.
Never a bass player.
Never a bass player.
What would happen if you went out on stage for a concert and you didn't set off the fireworks and you didn't break up the guitar and you didn't have the smoke and the fire and the blood and all that, and you just came out and did your thing? What would they come to the concert?
It would still be a rip-roaring rock and roll show, because what we do when we go out there is we don't stand still when we play our instruments. We run around and pretty much raise hell. Can we say that on TV?
Yes, you can.
Well, we raise hell.
TV.
I have medals from, you know, early
Past
days in
World War
high school,
medals.
track, you know, track, and I'm sure we're four very athletic young gentlemen.
I
It's
think,
incredible.
yeah, this is, I mean, this is our thing, you know, going out like this. So if we didn't go out like this, a lot of people would be really disappointed because Kiss is known for the big show. So why shouldn't we go out and do what people expect?
How does what you do now in concert, what we saw on the videotape, and I'm assuming that that's reasonably recent, how does it differ from when Kiss first went out on stage? Did you come out with this tremendous energy right from day number one?
The energy was there, the equipment wasn't. We used to go out and we wanted everybody to think we were famous and that we were very big, so we used to have amplifiers that were empty because we couldn't afford speakers.
I remember that.
We'd pile them against the walls and we'd tell the lighting man, don't put a light on them because you could see these circles. Right through them, right? You could see where the speakers were. The energy was always there. When we used to play little clubs, we started out playing in Amityville, Long Island, and we always said, this is the Garden. You know, every night we played.
Peter said this was the Garden. I want some credit for that.
In fact, I remember opening up for lots of bands that had half the equipment. Oh, I see there's a live human being over there. Half the equipment right here in front of us.
Wait a second. Have you recorded your laugh?
No, we want to, though.
You must
record. These guys have been talking about recording my laugh. We've done 15 albums. They've never done it. Maybe on the 16th album they will do it.
I think you recorded it on your solo album. You did.
Absolutely not.
No, he didn't. Yeah.
Ace has been saving it for a Kiss.
That wasn't my real laugh. That was just a compilation of...
All right, upcoming and future Kiss albums, Ace Frehley's laugh. Right.
You were saying something.
I forgot.
Oh, all right, fine.
No, I know what it was. When we first started out, we had so much equipment that the other bands...
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
We had no equipment. We were broke.
Oh, you remember the Marshall lamps?
Oh, the phony Marshall lamps were incredible.
Right, phony Marshall lamps. And we used to open up for these bands that had nothing. All they had were guitars and drums, and we had this 6-foot logo, and this was way back in '74. And people just used to get very, very angry at the fact that we could come out, put on a... We had a levitating drum set.
Wait,
we were still doing
that
a
was
30...
funny. It would go up 6 feet, but there was like guys with ropes.
Keeping it from falling over.
Pulling me up, And if we didn't get the guys for that night, the drums weren't going up.
When we first started out, we used to play clubs, and the drums would go up, and Peter would be like this, and the ceiling would be getting lower and lower.
And I used to tell the guys, don't lift me anymore. They still keep going in it.
No, but actually, sometimes it worked on a chain drive, the first levitating drum set that we had.
Bicycle chain.
And sometimes it would skip.
Gotcha.
Have you ever had a 10-speed bicycle?
Surely.
It would go up like that.
And then drop and go back up.
And my heart would drop with it.
And we all fell for Peter.
Yeah, well, we played along with it, though, you know. In fact, the first time, that's part of the show. You can never let on.
I'm glad you guys
When we
did.
first started playing, we had to get used to wearing these kind of shoes. And Ace is notorious for his bad balance. And maybe the first couple of months that we were on tour, invariably, once a night, you would hear a thud on stage and you would look, and Ace would be sprawled out. And being troopers, we would run over and play over.
These guys were incredible.
It was
if I would fall on
choreographed.
stage, these guys would run over to me and make believe like it was part of the show. They'd stand over me and we'd do like this. I'm looking up and they're looking down. We'd put the guitars together and bounce them off and
People would
turn
love
around.
it. There goes the lead guitarist.
Well, that's part of the show.
When you see the audience going crazy, what goes through your minds? Do you have time to think about audience reaction while you're performing?
I feel like I'm in a movie. I always get the feeling that you know, without comparing ourselves to anybody else, it's almost like the mid-60s, like we're in a Beatles kind of movie. And we're not even playing ourselves because, I mean, when you realize that a lot of the people at the show have been waiting 3 or 4 months to come see us, and this is like the big night for them. And when you see all these people screaming and crying and all that, everything's on.
Crying? Why did I spend all that money? I spent all this money.
This is it. He goes up in the air. We're out of here.
True confession time, right here. Huh? True confession time. Right. Exclusive on the Tom Snyder program.
That was good. You'll suffer in the dressing room.
Whose idea was Kiss? Who invented Kiss?
We all did.
We all
did, yeah.
We've been to, Gene and I were together for about 9 years now.
Not sexually, just to...
That's the later part of the program. I want to slip it past 120, and then we'll get into the drugs and and all that stuff.
No, none of that.
Okay.
No.
I don't take drugs.
Mom? No drugs. Go ahead.
No, you were saying 9 years.
Yeah, we've been together about 9 years, and then we broke up a band we were in, and Peter joined us, and then Ace joined us, and the rest is Kiss story.
We always wanted. I always wanted.
Kissmas. It's like everything is
Really?
Kiss. Kissmas, Kiss story.
The thing was, we always wanted theatrics and music together. I did find myself.
We're still hoping for it.
No, and finally I met these two nuts, and they wanted it. We picked him off the Bowery.
Tom McCann, 398 questions.
That was it.
Can I just go around the horn here and start with Gene? And tell me where you're from and where you went to school.
All right, I've got a question to ask you. My manager's off stage. Is this true confession time or am I on?
No, you're
You're really on.
All right. Then I'm from New York City.
Wait a second.
Wait a minute.
They're not on.
I'm from Queens, New York. Actually, not too far away from Paul's house. We kind of used to wave to each other before we knew. That's right. Before we knew each other, I'd see this guy waving back. I'd wave.
Gene was
and,
into telescopes.
Telescope.
He loves it. Huh? Ace loves it.
Ace loves anything.
Can I tell you something funny?
Oh, I get beat up by him.
Before you guys came on, they gave me a little sheet on each one of you to read, you know, where you're from and how you grew up and blah, blah, blah. And the note said, now Ace seems to be the most laid back of the four, and he's the one who'll probably be the hardest to make talk. Now,
Well, this is not Ace.
This isn't Ace.
This is George. This is George.
I'm an imposter. Ace is back in his ass.
That's true.
We got our roadmap.
Who's on first? What's on second? You know. Listen, Tom, about that swampland in New Jersey you were wondering about.
You grew up in New York. You all grew up in different parts.
I grew up in the Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn, man.
I grew up 211th Street and Broadway. I was the only Jew in an Irish neighborhood. And you learn to either run or fight. And then I moved to Queens.
But he used to paint himself green
We were still running the
every once in a while.
And,
That's where the makeup comes in.
I knew Gene and I would be in a band together because he was the only guy in Queens who was wearing whiteface and a ponytail. This guy.
That is true. Boots like this is, you know, it's not your regular 398 Tom McCann special.
That's right. Those are $7.98 at Hardee's.
Tell me about your outfits. I mean, did you design your own outfits, all of you? And tell me what each outfit means. And I'll start with you, Ace.
Well,
That means a
I
cucumber.
think this outfit is self-explanatory. I mean, you know, this is part of a kind of a V shape. This is my utility belt, and we don't want to go any below than my waist area because that's reserved for concert payers. Yeah.
I understand that.
But,
and then after it's all over, they say, this is what we paid for.
And that's why they always feel short.
I stole this from Flash Gordon, and, you know, I have my cape here.
But you're kind of like a spaceman, huh?
No, actually, I'm a plumber. On the side. Look.
Well, listen, I got a little piece of pipe backstage I'd like to have you work on.
Tell me about it. Oh, you love it, but I'm in bed.
You old sweet talker, you. But I'll tell you, I read on the sheet that they gave me where they said that it's hard to get you out of your shell.
It's hard for me to talk. I'm very introverted.
Try to cheer down. That you wanted to go for a ride in the first spaceship or a rocket ship or something like that.
Are you referring to the space shuttle?
The space shuttle that you wanted.
Yes, I would prefer to have a ride on the first space shuttle if it's feasibly possible. I was speaking to Pat, and I said, you got any info,
Secret ambitions.
See if you can get me a ticket on that. I'd be very interested in that, because I'm into technology.
I think Ace doesn't need anything. I think he can just power himself. His own power.
Ace's limo just I'm in your band.
Never a dull moment. Let me tell you something about Ace. When we were first starting out, we had a Mylar front to the bass drum. We would play these clubs, and we're still trying to figure out who it is that we are, what it is that we're trying to put across. And Ace ultimately... Ace, yeah, look at him. Hi, Mom. Ace ultimately would look into the Mylar and start laughing at himself.
And I thought he liked me, kept up.
Having a rotten time, right, Tom?
I'm having an awful time.
Take it easy. It'll get better.
We'll hope so. We'll regroup here for a couple of minutes, and we'll continue with Kiss after these words from the NBC television stations coast to coast. I don't believe this, man.